Hello and welcome to our daily Africa Cup of Nations show here on France 24. 8 teams are left standing after the round of 16, which was full of suspense, surprises and upsets, but also overshadowed by tragedy and more criticism for CAF. To cover all the major talking points of the tournament so far and what to expect in the quarterfinals coming up this weekend. I'm joined in the studio by Eurosport journalist Ruben Slagter. Welcome to you, Ruben. Thanks for being back with us again.
Good evening and thanks for having me again.
And let's start with a debrief of that dramatic round of 16, which saw 3 penalty shootouts and 6 red cards. Our sports editor Simon Harding in Yaoundé gives us his take on the knockouts so far.
The surprises keep on coming at this Africa Cup of Nations 2021. It has been a crazy round of last 16 with some of the pre-tournament favourites, with some of the favourites after the group stages falling like flies here in Cameroon. The first and most notable, Nigeria, who were the only team to win all 3 of their group stages and who yet put in an insipid performance against Tunisia. The Tunisians winning that one 1-0 and to send the Super Eagles home without anything under their belt and to reflect on a match that they simply did not turn up for. The same can be said for the Elephants, the Ivory Coast, who knocked out defending champions Algeria in their final group stage match, possibly with the best performance yet after tournament, and yet beaten on penalties by the Pharaohs, Egypt and Mo Salah, scoring the decisive spot kick to send the Elephants home. And once more, Patrice Baumel getting his tactics completely wrong. The positive, and what we have seen, which has been incredibly refreshing here at the tournament, is the so-called minnows on the continent performing admirably. A special shout out to the Gambia, who have reached the quarterfinals in their debut edition here at the Africa Cup of Nations and who have a real chance of beating a very controversial Cameroon. Cameroon, who struggled against Burkina Faso, 2 penalties to win that one. They then beat Ethiopia comfortably, but it was Ethiopia, no disrespect to them, and then who drew to Cape Verde before a very strange performance against the Comoros Islands, who were without a fit goalkeeper, a man down, and who probably had the best chances in the match. And you would think that were they at full strength, they possibly could have even beaten Cameroon. So very interesting matchups to come in the quarterfinals. The pick of the bunch is probably the Atlas Lions, Morocco, who take on Egypt. One to watch out for between Cameroon and the Gambia, as I said. And we are yet to see Senegal really hit their form, although for the first time this tournament, Senegal did score twice in a game and are still yet to concede in the tournament.
So as Simon said, the surprises keep on coming. I think it's safe to say that anything can still happen. Ruben, we've seen both Nigeria and Ivory Coast, who were touted as the big favourites after the group stages knocked out. What went wrong for them?
Well, I think that Nigeria, those are 2 different stories, to be honest. I think that if you look at the Nigeria match, they weren't there. We already said it after the group stage. They hadn't been tested, and even if this Tunisia side is not sensational, they put up a fight, and Nigeria stumbled straight away. So, yeah, that's bad for the Ivory Coast. I think the loss of Franck Kessie in the first half was a real loss for them. That's the motor on their midfield. And then it became a 50-50 match against Egypt and they lost it on penalties. That's the whole thing about this tournament, when the differences between the teams are not that big. So, yeah, everyone can win against everyone. And that's also why it's so much fun to follow, of course.
Exactly. And like you said, 3 of these quarterfinals did go to penalties. For you, it's a reflection of tighter games going down to the wire, or more what we saw at the beginning of the tournament with many teams really struggling to get off the ground?
Well, it depends on the matches. If you look at, for example, Egypt against the Ivory Coast, that was for a long time an entertaining match. Mali against Equatorial Guinea it had written penalties all over it during the whole match. So yeah, that's sometimes you have games like this. We'll now have to see. I mean, they're now four quarterfinals with a lot of teams having the chance of their lives going through. Are they going to use these matches to show what they're worth, or are they just going to get as far as possible at the tournament, which is at some point logic as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. Moving on to some of the underdogs and a big surprise in this tournament, Simon gave them a shout out earlier. If I'm allowed to say so myself, it's my favourite story of the tournament so far. Debutants and AFCON's lowest ranked side have gone against all the odds to qualify for the quarterfinals after beating Guinea 1-0 in their match round of 16. That is the Gambia, of course. They remain unbeaten so far in the competition. Scorpions are now hoping to sting once again as they face the hosts Cameroon on Saturday. Ruben, this is really a remarkable run for the Gambia.
Yeah, and you also have to give them credit for the way they're doing it. I think that's important because we're now talking about good defensive play. It's technically sound as well. Moussa Barrow is just a sensational player, but also at the back a great goalkeeper, with Omar Colley also one of the best defenders in the tournament. So it hasn't been stolen at all. They've been a little bit lucky at times, but when you are the smallest team in the tournament, you can be a little bit lucky. Why not? It's really impressive. And if you see all the energy in that team, they have nothing to lose tomorrow. Or no, it's not. Yeah, it's in 2 days. Saturday, I'm sorry, against Cameroon. So why not? Honestly, why not? I can see them causing the great upset. Yeah.
And along with more investment from the Gambian Football Federation, their coach, Tom Seinfeld, who was appointed in 2018, has largely been credited for the rise of football in Gambia. While he hopes his side can continue their amazing run, the Belgian says he's more importantly looking towards the future.
We're here to test our limits, to build a team for the future, because I want Gambia in the quarterfinals, not just today, but also in 2023, in 2025, and why not in the World Cup 2026, where there will be 9 African countries that can go. I want to develop this team.
And we'll have to wait and see whether that fairy tale will continue. And now I think on that note, it's time to take a look at who will be facing who in the quarterfinals for a place in the semis. As we just said, the Gambia and Cameroon will be getting the ball rolling in Douala on Saturday, followed by Burkina Faso and Tunisia. Sadio Mane's Senegal face Equatorial Guinea on Sunday. And the last quarterfinal is a blockbuster as Mohamed Salah's Egypt take on Morocco. As we said there earlier, Ruben, several Titans have already been knocked out. It's been so unpredictable so far, I almost don't want to put you on the spot, but who are your big contenders now?
I think that what Simon said as well, I think that Senegal, they haven't conceded. It's not impressive yet, but they seems to be getting better and better every round. So logically, they are the big favorites. The winner of the Egypt and Morocco match is also a real contender. If you look at the games until now, I think that Morocco were better until now, but Egypt, they showed some signs during the match against the Ivory Coast. So that could be the real blockbuster we're all waiting for. And yeah, then of course you have all those outsider stories. I mean, Burkina Faso and Tunisia both will be really fancying their chances. So that will be interesting. And we were already talking about the Gambia against Cameroon. Normally that should be a win for Cameroon, but if we have learned anything from this tournament, it's that all the favorites go out. So why not another upset?
Don't want to tempt anyone's fate, that is for sure. Certainly lots to be looking forward to, though the action, of course, on the pitch this week has unfortunately been overshadowed by the deadly stampede at Olimbe Stadium on Monday that left 8 people dead. And questions have also been raised over the host's COVID protocol. The president of the Cameroonian Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, spoke exclusively with France 24 as the pressure mounts on the hosts and CAF. Let's take a listen.
It's a beautiful celebration, but it has been tarnished. Allow me, first of all, on my own behalf and on behalf of the executive committee that I chair, to send our sincere condolences to all the bereaved families and a speedy recovery to the injured. Some have paid the ultimate price, their lives, just by showing their love for the Cameroon team, by being at the stadium. As we have said to ourselves and the players, if we needed an extra motivation, now we have it, to bring a bit of joy in the hearts of the families.
Cameroon have qualified for the quarterfinals in this Africa Cup of Nations, a qualification which has unfortunately been tarnished by lots of accusations, notably fraudulent COVID tests. What do you have to say?
Did you know that the agency in charge of carrying out the tests is only, and I mean 100%, chosen by CAF? But I'll give you some information. Did you know when we were debating whether to go ahead or not with this beautiful competition, our European partners thought that we, that is CAF, should bring an agency to guarantee that players are well looked after in Africa and that they wouldn't have any problems after returning to Europe. I will tell you that personally I was opposed to this because I think we can trust Africans.
Ruben, obviously those tragic scenes we saw this week have really overshadowed the competition.
Yes, and at least Samuel Eto'o is already addressing to those families. I mean, we've seen also some really low pointing already by people at CAF and also in Cameroon. So I think at least there he is doing a good job. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, when you want to talk about this tournament, we only want to hear about football and joy, and that's all what the Africa Cup of Nations is about. But yeah, unfortunately, we had to discuss, and we also have to discuss. It's not that we should forget it, but because this is a huge story and a horrible story about all the things that happened on and outside the pitch, and especially what happened before or even during the Cameroon-Comoros match.
Indeed, and Cameroon's government has said it wants to improve access to Olombe Stadium after the stampede, which saw 8 people lose their lives. And the quarterfinal that was due to be held at that venue has been moved, and an inquiry is currently underway. Ruben, this isn't the only criticism or controversy we've seen during this tournament. We've spoken about controversial refereeing decisions, problems with the pitch in Douala, criticism over COVID protocol. So lots of things going on off the pitch, which maybe have taken some of the focus away from the football itself. Do you think there's been too much attention on the backstage, criticism and problems going on behind the stages, this backstage?
No. I mean, especially with the story in Olembe, that's we have to talk about it. This is a tournament. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think that we are covering the tournament as well. Also tonight we have had all those fantastic stories on the pitch, but it's still there's still happening so many things. And if you're not talking about it, what kind of journalist are you? I'm sorry to say, but especially with these incidents. With already now talking about not playing there anymore, this means that this stadium wasn't ready to host matches. Well, that's a real issue. It's just horrible to hear those kind of things. So, yeah, we have to talk about it without forgetting that there is still a tournament. They want to continue the tournament, but yeah, it's for me. It's this is a real important issue, and especially we will never want to see this happen again. So please learn from it and continue and make it better.
For sure. That brings us to the end of our show for this evening. Thank you to Ruben for joining us this evening. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. As I said, we'll be back on Friday at the same time, same place from Yaoundé and Paris for a look ahead to those quarterfinals kicking off on Saturday. Until then, stay tuned here on France 24 for more news.